will be a great wrestling podcast, and you can believe in that.
I knew he was going to do it. I knew.
This is OT3.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to OT3. Of course, I'm here again, but we're glad to have Matt back, and my man Paul is here again as well. So, what's going on tonight?
Hello, fellas.
Paul.
Yes.
Anthony. Viewers. I knew you'd come.
Nice. That's pretty good, Matt. I know that has something to do with one of these wrestling matches that went on this past week, probably.
It did. Should I take it away, Anthony?
Yeah, you know what? First, since you did that, I'm going to have to say this. Senor Jizzy, prepare the battlefield.
Why would you even say that? That just sounded wrong.
He understands. He knows who's being called right now.
So, what we're talking about there is the recent TNA that happened last week called, 2 weeks ago, the Delete or Decay match happened between Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero and the Decay, which is also, a remake of the final Deletion match, not remake, a sequel. And I gotta say, it was pretty interesting. Paul, you would find this match kind of amusing. They had fireworks shooting at each other, they had drones, they had creepy witchcraft ladies, and they had everything you think of in a wrestling match.
I like it.
Wait,
what did you say? Creepy old ladies? Is that what you said?
Creepy witch ladies.
Oh.
She looked like a witch. Anthony, you watched it after me. Before I get going, what did you think of the match?
I liked, I liked little parts here and there. I still like the original between Jeff Hardy and Matt. The first one I thought was better, obviously because it was the original. The second one was cool. I like these, these types of matches they keep doing. I hope they continue to do stuff because it's definitely innovative and something you don't see elsewhere. And I just think that, like I said from the beginning, I think Broken Matt Hardy is probably, I think he's the best character, best gimmick right now in all of professional wrestling. But just like the little things, like my favorite spot, I think, was when Abyss fell into the lake of reincarnation, and then he came out as Joseph Parks, and then Senor Benjamin tased him. And I think that was, one of my favorite parts of the actual match. And then before the match, when he told Senor Benjamin to set up the zoo, and then he said that all of the animals there, except for the spot monkeys, which he had named too, were reincarnations of people from the past. Which I know you want to say your favorite line that he said to the giraffe, and you can tell him a little bit about who the giraffe was, Matt, if you'd like.
Well, the giraffe was a reincarnation of Mr. George Washington, in which he started, George, I knew you'd come. So you had George the giraffe, you had, what was the kangaroo again? You go ahead and say the kangaroo.
The kangaroo was supposed to be, it was a boxer kangaroo, so it was supposed to be Joe Frazier.
And then the tiger Genghis Khan.
Yep, and he had them, he had the kangaroo boxing with Jeff Hardy. And he was actually kicking him, and that was the best part. And I just remember watching Matt Hardy get kicked, and he was just like, "That's enough now, Joe. That's enough." And he just keeps hitting him, kicking him in the side. And then when George or the giraffe took the hat, he's like, "Please give that back. She needs that." She didn't put any sunscreen on. Just the little things he said before the match even started. It was just like this. That whole thing was great.
And then the match check that one out. You got fireworks shooting at the Decay. You have Jeff Hardy, and then how about when Jeff took the shot? Hey, Matt Hardy's like, Jeff, Brother Nero, that was such an unselfish act. And the way, if you watch it, Paul, the way Jeff Abyss was about ready to hit Matt Hardy with a 2x4 with I think it was nails in it. Or is it a bat? What is it? Is it 2x4 or is it a bat, Genesis?
It was a bat, I think, with nails in it. I'm
pretty
sure. I'm not positive.
And Jeff pushed him out the way, and when Jeff got hit, it looked like a movie, like one of those little movie things where you get stabbed in the stomach or something, Paul. It was great.
Yep, and then the other funny thing that happened after, did you see the fallout of it when he had to go find everybody?
Yeah, Senor Benjamin got kidnapped, and then the whole Jeff Hardy
to the Lake of Reincarnation.
Oh Jesus!
And when he came out, the champ is back, and he's like, "This is not the reincarnation I needed," and he dumps him in the water again.
He came out smoking a cigarette, Paul.
Oh dang! Sorry, I was listening. I wasn't answering you because I'm trying to figure out some. I was hearing an echo on the audio, but I think it's good now.
Yep, everything's good. On my end, I can hear it. So, it was a really great match. It's an interesting match. I like what TNA's doing with it. I think they need to roll with this Broken Matt Hardy and I wouldn't mind seeing Broken Matt and Brother Nero in WWE one day. I think it'd be a really good story angle, if that would come to it.
Yes. And on to continue on that TNA talk, they are saying now that WWE, I know there was rumors that they were putting bids, that WWE has not put a bid in whatsoever, but Ring of Honor still has. And Ring of Honor's basis is basically that they would keep TNA as a program, but they would own the time slots. It would be Ring of Honor. TNA would be under them. But as of this moment, WWE has not put a bid in. The only thing they would want is the library. They wouldn't even keep the brand around itself. So
No,
for the
they
moment,
just want the people and just take out another competition.
right. But TNA would be gone. Exactly. So I think that for now it's going to stay that it's just that ROH is in the bidding, and I really don't want WWE to buy it if you're going to see TNA go away, because as much as they're not like doing great things right now, they're starting to make little moves again. And with Billy Corgan, as we talked about, taking over, and the influx of trying to continue bringing new talent and maybe get some more of these guys that left. As you saw, Cody Rhodes will be there non-exclusively. His wife is now in the knockout division. We talked about the other guys there that have come recently, Aaron Rex or Sandow, Moose. So continuing to build that, their talent again could be a good thing. And of course, they have Bound for Glory coming up in a few more weeks. I think maybe 2 weeks actually. So, hopefully we could see them on the up and up, because Bound for Glory for them is their WrestleMania.
Well, let's just go with the fact real quick. Speaking about TNA, about how right now, there's two major not major, but two championships that are now owned by former TNA superstars in AJ Styles and TJ Perkin, aka Suicide.
Yeah.
Which I think could segue right into our next topic.
I was going to say, yeah.
Think? Go ahead,
Yeah.
Anthony. You take for the CWC.
All right. So Paul and me last week got to talking a little bit about the CWC, and Paul could tell you, I know he loved one of the guys' names that we talked about a lot, and it was Kota Ibushi. I really thought it was Kota Ibushi's to win. I really thought he was going to be the one that won it, that it was going to be him versus Sabre Jr., because those to me were the two best, cruiserweights around the world in the tournament, and the way they were being built, up in the tournament. But then, you saw Grand Metalik defeat Sabre Jr., and then you saw Ibushi lose to TJ Perkins. The big thing there was not only did he lose, but Ibushi tapped out to Perkins. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the match. He hit him. He had him in that knee bar, Perkins, and then he started raking on his neck. And Ibushi has a surgically repaired neck, so Ibushi actually tapped out for Perkins to advance. And then, of course, the main event happened between Ibushi and Metalik, since they both advanced. And I'm sorry, not Ibushi, Metalik and Perkins. And then Triple H comes out and says how there's been a great tournament so far. And then he announces not only is this for the first ever Cruiserweight Classic competition, but now also the first Cruiserweight champion to debut on Raw during this new era would show up on Monday Night Raw as the winner of this tournament and the new champion. So that wasn't something, I thought they were going to hold off to Clash of Champions and have that first champion crown. But now, as you saw, TJ Perkins won the Cruiserweight Classic and is now the new Cruiserweight champion as well, to show up tonight on Raw, which I'm excited to see. But very, very, very impressed with the Cruiserweight Classic overall. I think I really don't think there was a bad match in the whole tournament. There might have been matches that weren't as great as the rest of them, but there wasn't necessarily a bad match. One of the matches, again, I talked about it last week, that stands out to me as one of the best of the whole tournament was, I think it was the second round match. It was between Kota Ibushi and Cedric Alexander. That was probably my favorite match of the whole tournament. And right after the match, what really stood out to me was Alexander lost, but the crowd was asking for him to sign, and Triple H came out, put his arm around Cedric, and Triple H looked at the crowd, and he was like, all right. And basically just saying, and now Cedric Alexander is actually one of the people that'll be on Monday Night Raw tonight. So I'm excited to see now from this, this competition's over. Now these guys are going to translate to Raw. So far, only 7 have been announced that are on Raw, which is the Brian Kendrick, Cedric Alexander, as I mentioned, Grand Metalik. Who's the other gentleman that I'm missing here? I just had him in my Noam Dar, Lince Dorado, obviously the Cruiserweight champion, TJ Perkins, and there was one more guy that I'm missing right now. Matt, do you know who the 7th one is by any
I'll
chance?
have to look it up real quick. Give me a second.
Rich Swann.
Actually, another thing to talk about the cruiserweights real quick. I don't know if you saw WWE put out a little, I guess, like photo or something that has Perkins, but they have Zayn and Neville next to him in the picture. So does this mean Zayn and Neville are going to go down to cruiserweights? And if so, is that a demotion for Sami Zayn and Neville to drop from being in title pictures down to cruiserweights? What do you think about that?
No, I don't necessarily see it as a demotion. I don't think Zayn will be in the picture right away. I think Neville will be in the picture, just because really, if you look, Neville really has no placement right now on the card, which is sad because he's coming off the injury. A lot of people thought he'd come in, white hot, hoping to get some kind of run, since right before he got hurt, he was actually projected to be in that Intercontinental ladder match at WrestleMania. But due to injury, obviously, he wasn't able to participate. So I think that Zayn is going to continue, his feud with Jericho, with this new best friend, former best friend and now best friend of Kevin Owens. But it kind of is cool because Neville and Zayn are two of the guys, and even like Finn Balor, obviously he's injured out right now too. But these are guys that if it wasn't for them trying to get people around the world and using guys on the main roster, might have been in this same predicament of being in the Cruiserweight Classic and the tournament itself before they were here. So I don't necessarily see it as a demotion. I think we're going to get some hella good fights, man. Hella good matches. Because now you got an hour of the cruiserweights that you think that Raw is going to have, because Raw is going to be exclusive to it at the time being, and they got 3 hours. So that's what I'm saying. You got to hope that they're filling out at least 1 to 2 matches every night with cruiserweights, to give them the right timing. And also you're showcasing more people. You have 7 brand new people already, and you have some guys already on the roster, like you mentioned, Zayn and Neville, for instance, that can shine very much so in the tournament. So I'm excited to see how it pans out. But I wouldn't even mind seeing
first title match.
Neville.
No.
Who?
James Ellington.
Isn't it James Ellsworth? But he shouldn't have a freaking title match.
Ellsworth.
That guy's not getting a first title match.
Ellsworth should be. I'm starting a Twitter hashtag Ellsworth for cruiserweight title.
Well, since we're talking about the cruiserweights, we'll talk more about our predictions for Raw at the end. Do you want to kind of just move on to Clash of Champions and talk about what you think might happen at Clash of Champions for the Cruiserweight title? They said every title is going to be defended. This is one of the 2 titles that we don't know what kind of match they're going to have yet.
I think for the Cruiserweight title at Clash of Champions, I feel like something's going to happen tonight. They're all got to be in the ring tonight. So I can't see Perkins. Maybe a 6-pack challenge like what they did with the women's title, maybe, but I can't see them throwing Perkins in a all odds, against the match right away. So I'm thinking, with the other people coming in tonight, I feel like we can maybe see some type of elimination match tonight to see who will face him. Maybe the first title defense will be a Clash of Champions. And maybe that's where, you got Zayn against Jericho for Clash of Champions, so you can take Zayn out the picture. Maybe Neville comes down and is like, hey, look, you're the new guy. I've been here for a while. It's time for me to shine and get my shot. So maybe we see Neville come down and step up.
Well, and the other thing, that they talked about for a while was a lot of these other guys they were showing every week when they were touting the Cruiserweight Classic to, the Cruiserweights coming to Raw. And one of the big names that was left off of Raw, and a lot of people kind of scratched their head because people were like, oh, we can't wait, was Jack Gallagher. Does he show up tonight maybe as like an unannounced, member of the Cruiserweights, and they have some kind of battle royal maybe or elimination style thing to determine the number 1 contender, or do they make it a multi-person match at Clash of Champions? So it's kind of... that's where I'm kind of wondering. Obviously, like I said, the 7 get confirmed, but do more than the 7 show up? So, it's still yet to be seen how it works out on that. But I am hoping that we definitely see, and what James wrote would be a fantastic idea, the championship scramble at Clash of Champions, with how they haven't done that match in years. So it'd be nice to see that, return. And especially with the Cruiserweights, you can see a lot of, different spots and throughout a match where people keep coming in, as the time goes on. So it's definitely something to think about. We'll see how it goes. I don't think Perkins is going to lose his first title defense, but at least in the championship scramble, you'll see a lot of, different people holding the title for that 30-minute time frame until obviously the last pinfall happens in the last 10 seconds or so. So.
Okay. All right, so if it's okay with you, let's move on to let's preview the rest of Raw before we get Clash of Champions on what other matches we're going to see tonight. Obviously, we're going to see match 6 between Cesaro and Sheamus, and I think we both can agree Cesaro will probably win this match, and match 7 will be a Clash of Champions. It's almost guaranteed. Cesaro with the impossible comeback. Can you go ahead and just agree with that? Probably.
Yeah, I don't like the way they booked this at all. I don't like that they did this 3-0, crap. And and now he's going to come back, and even if he loses match 7 or whatever, but he has to win 3 in a row, it's like, what? You should have at least split them up a little bit, because now they're not going to have the a best of 7 series end in 6. They're just not. So
Yeah.
Cesaro is going to win tonight.
All right. Then also another match we have to get set up for is part of the U.S. title. So we have in the main event Rusev versus Seth Rollins tonight. Roman's already tweeted out the guy doesn't, it's something like the guy doesn't wait for the fight. I'm coming for you. So obviously Roman is hinting he'll get involved some type in this match. So either he goes after Rusev, we see a mini Shield reunion or whatnot, because apparently now full-fledged Seth Rollins apparently now is a babyface, which he was almost acting like a babyface even when he had the title because fans still cheered for him. These faces and heels, they almost don't exist anymore. I hate to say it, but
What's a baby face? What do you mean by baby face?
like they're over with the fans. They're the good guys, and the heel is the bad
okay.
guy.
Right.
So right now Kevin Owens is the so-called bad guy, but fans still cheer him. Like when the Shield first came in, they were the bad guys. I'm cheering for the Shield. Anthony cheered for the Wyatt family. I mean, it's just there's really no more heels or faces. It's not the Attitude Era anymore. So Anthony, can we almost fully predict that we'll probably see Rusev versus Roman at Clash of Champions for the title?
Yeah, I think that's 100% what's going to happen. I know Paul and I talked about it last week too, how that would pan out. I was thinking that Jericho is going to get involved in the main event somehow to cost Roman the match, and then Jericho and Roman were going to have a match, because I remember they were saying that he was going to be out for his honeymoon for 23 days or whatever it was, and there was talk of him not even being back in time for the pay-per-view. But now that he returned, it was almost like, okay, that makes sense, because you never got to see that match at SummerSlam, and now this main event tonight.
It was a stupid thing they did. No
Exactly,
offense.
yeah. Well, they said that was due to with Finn getting injured and all that, but now at least we're going to see the match at Clash of Champions, is what my idea is. Now, I might be wrong, but I think that they're building for that to happen. And this match tonight, the main event, is Mick Foley basically said it's because the two of them got involved in the main event. This is the repercussions they're facing, which to me is silly. Oh, you guys have to face each other in a match. Oh man, it's terrible repercussions. I don't understand. He said, you better not cross me. And then he's like, oh, you know what? You crossed me. Now you're going to face Rusev. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's me, but I don't understand what that storyline, what that's supposed to mean. It's not like he's in unless it's some kind of, gimmick match, like maybe a steel cage or something like that. Then,
Speaking of which, someone did post a video that there is a steel cage above the Raw set tonight.
Then that would make more sense to me. Because then at least it's like,
Spoiler
alert Seth,
for everyone.
At least, he'd be like, you know what, since you did cross, and he'd be like, oh, I'm facing Rusev, okay, and he'd be like, no, not only are you facing, but it's in a steel cage, and it's like, all right, 6 days till Clash of Champions, you're putting him inside a steel cage, and yeah, I could be like, that's a repercussion that I understand.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, there's a steel cage above the ring.
Yeah, we'll see if they actually use it or if it's just used for a dark match, so.
Maybe. So that's pretty much our list of championships we have. So, we pretty much...
Well, sorry, you said also Raw. They also announced tonight that there'll be a Divas tag team match. Sasha and Bailey will face Dana Brooke and Charlotte. Do you think this will further... I know at a live event this past week, Emma returned as a referee. So do you think maybe Emma and Dana Brooke get back to being partners
There
and
we go.
she leaves
Emma,
Charlotte
Paige,
all together?
Emma, Paige, and Luke Harper are all backstage at Raw tonight. They've said Luke is going to SmackDown, so he could be at Raw, maybe to work a dark match to see how he does. I think we could see this turn to a 6 women's tag match with Paige and Emma both coming out. You could see Emma come out first, and then Paige come out to even the odds up.
Yeah. Well, do you think Emma and Dana Brooke will be back as a team, or do you think they're going to continue this Dana Brooke and Charlotte experiment? What's your feeling on
I can't believe I'm
that?
gonna say this, but I could see them turning on Charlotte
Yeah, I think so too. That's what I think's going to happen.
for the way
I think
she's
that
been
Emma and Dana Brooke and NXT were good together, and that's why they brought Dana Brooke up so fast during when she came up.
The way she's also
and then
been
Emma got
treated
injured.
face
So
lately as well has been horrible.
And to be honest with you, I think Emma is the most underutilized diva next to Naomi on all of the roster, because I don't think Emma's ever been... I know Emma's never been in a singles match for the Divas title, or Diva or Women's title, since she's been promoted to the main roster. And down in NXT, her and Paige were basically the first two to really get that division going.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. I think that's pretty much what we have for Raw right now. I guess we could get into Clash of Champions.
Yeah.
All right, so that's pretty new, and I like it. What is going? Sorry, it's on my end.
Huh?
Apologize. Something came up that was a video, and I thought Paul was playing some new music.
Oh, fair enough.
We didn't hear anything. I don't think so.
That's good. All right, so we'll go with just the 4 matches that are announced right now because this is all they're announced. Obviously, we talked about they're probably going to announce Cesaro versus Sheamus and the Rusev and Cruiserweight match. So let's go with the 4 they have now. Anthony, we'll start with you. Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho, I think, has the potential to be a really amazing match.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that match could definitely be huge implications, for the both of them. How it's going to pan out and how much further it'll go other than this match is yet to be seen. But I like it, and I think that it's probably going to be the match of the night to me, honestly, especially that it's on a card where it's supposed to be Clash of Champions. I just think the two workers. I look at the two wrestlers in each match, and those guys seem like are two of the better in ring workers today. So I think that match could definitely steal the show early on because with all the other title matches announced so far. But my prediction is going to surprise you. As much as I love Jericho, and I think that he's one of the best things going today with the drink it in and all that, I think Sami Zayn's going to get the victory in this match.
So I've been thinking about this match on which way it could go, and I gotta say I'm gonna go with what's been going on lately, and I'm gonna go with the gift of Jericho, and I'm gonna say Jericho wins, and Sami Zayn's losing streak or whatever he's on just keeps on going.
All right.
So next, I have Charlotte versus Sasha for the Raw Women's Championship. Now this is a title that Sasha gave up, and we all know about it. Wrestling fans read because she was injured before her match to Survivor Series for SummerSlam. She was supposed to have a long run with this title. I believe she will win the title back, and we're going to start getting set up for Bailey versus Sasha again. And all the matches they've been putting on NXT. And these two women, Bailey and Sasha, if they fight, have the potential at a Raw pay-per-view to be the main event, and I think it needs to happen.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that the women are coming up on a main event here soon. I definitely think they've earned it, and I think that they have the capability and, to put on, main event caliber matches. They already do it now, so I don't see why they can't be the main event of any of the pay-per-views going forward. But I think they're going to let Charlotte win again, and I think something's going to happen to the extent to where so they'll have a rematch, but I think the next match will include Bailey in it because I just think that they're not going to put the Sasha Bailey match yet, on it because they're saying they're trying to hold that for WrestleMania.
It's going to be so hard to do that, though.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why I think Charlotte's going to hold the title again because I think that it'll extend that feud for at least another month. And then, they'll keep going, and you could have at one of the pay-per-views in between then, you could have like a multi, tag team deep like Survivor Series. Instead of having a title match, it could be like a 5-on-5 traditional Raw Divas versus Smackdown Divas. You could do something like that so that this way you hold off on that match. But I definitely think that that's where the money is, and that's their idea is that Sasha and Bailey will be the main event for the women's title at WrestleMania 33 in Orlando since that's where it all started for NXT.
Yep. Next up I have here is the New Day, Big E, Kofi, or Xavier, whoever. I believe this time it's going to be Big E and Kofi since Big E didn't get to do SummerSlam versus the Club. I'm going to go with the Club on this one because just like, with when Finn Balor had the longest reign for NXT, I think, obviously they've had it for over a year now, right? If I'm corrected.
Yeah, over a year. Yep, they won it last year at SummerSlam back.
The reason I didn't see them dropping at SummerSlam was because Big E's not there and whatnot. I think it's time for the New Day to drop the title, and I think it's time for the tag team division to go in a different direction with the Club. Obviously, we all love the New Day, we all love what they do, but you can only keep up for something for so long, and they've been together for what, almost 2.5 years by now.
Yeah, I'd say it's about right.
Yeah, it's the longest stable we've had since the Shield, and they were together for what, 2 years as well? Before they broke off, I guess?
Yeah, just about, yep.
All right, so I think we're going to start seeing maybe a major title run, I believe, for Big E, who deserves one. But I got the Club winning this for the sole reason of I think the New Day is starting to slowly wind down a little bit. What do you think?
I think it's just time for the club to win. I think that you have to, start moving on with another tag team. The New Day have had an incredible run. I think they'll still have a decent run. I just think there's more that the three of them could be doing than just the tag team picture. Especially, I think Big E. I think there's a lot they could use him, and I think he could be majorly put in the Universal title picture immediately. That's the only thing I worry about is the three of them aren't together. What do they do? Kofi's been in the mid card before. Xavier really never had a run on his own. He had like a run on his own in the beginning, but it wasn't anything, major. It was just a couple matches here and there. And I think he immediately started teaming with R-Truth, once he came up from NXT. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I think Big E would be the biggest breakout of the three of them if they do decide to move on from the New Day. But I definitely have the club, winning the match on Sunday and becoming the new tag team champions.
All right. And the main event we get to now, we got Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. I think this is going to be a great match, but I agree with you. We'll do over our match of the night in Superstar. I'm going to say, I think, I've been going back and forth between this, and I think we're going to see Kevin Owens win this because I think they're getting us ready for a Seth Rollins Triple H feud. And I see Triple H. We haven't seen him since the title match on Raw. He hasn't been around. Obviously, the CWC, that doesn't count or whatever. He didn't mention. He could have did a little promo mentioning what he did, but he didn't. I think we see Triple H come back again. And I can't believe I'm going on a limb and say this. I think Triple H will try to interfere in this match on Owens' behalf. For some reason, I feel Roman Reigns is going to come down and do something about it. You don't think so?
No.
Do you think Triple H will be in this match at all?
No.
You think it's going to be one-on-one, them going at it? All right.
I think they're going to hold off on Triple H.
Until, what do you think? Survivor Series?
Here's my thing. I think they're not going to. I wouldn't be surprised if they do have him show up. Me personally, I hope not, because when are they going to have this match? If they have this, he's already shown up once. He's gone away. Stephanie's like, I have no idea what's going on. That whole spiel. If he shows up, then when is this match going to happen between him and Seth? Because Seth's not going to, if a second time it happens, Seth's not going to just let it go again like he did the first time. So if you have him show up this in September, this is a WrestleMania match, or at the least, this match needs to take place on like the Royal Rumble. But you want Rollins in the Royal Rumble, so I mean, if he does it now, what are they going on their next Raw exclusive pay-per-view? You're going to have Triple H and Rollins. That's kind of where I'm at. So I don't know. I have Owens winning too, but I really haven't thought about how. I feel like something's going to happen to cause it, and I could see like the three of the Shield members like having a little mini reunion, but not like teaming up, but having like a spot in the match somewhere at Survivor Series. So I don't know how they're going to play that out with the three of them, but I don't think Triple H is going to cause them anything. So I mean,
something's happening. Someone's stealing Matt.
Someone's bothering him.
He's getting kidnapped. Where's he going?
Oh, jeez.
He almost got kidnapped.
I'm back. Someone opened my door by accident. I had to go look at it.
Okay.
Oh, fair enough. So I don't know how they will, but I am going to pick Owens. I think that the only championship that'll change hands will be the tag team championships for the first time in over a year, and I think that Kevin Owens will retain the title at Clash of Champions. I don't think it's time to take the title. I don't want them to start doing this transitioning with champions, back and forth, back and forth.
All right, I can agree. I think Owens is gonna retain it. First off, I want to say thank you to everyone in the chat room right now. Justin, our number one fan, Vinny, and James. Every time I see Vinny in there, I think number one fan. I think of when Funaki would say number one Smackdown announcer.
That's true.
That's what Vinny is. Number one OT3 fan. That's what Vinny is. I asked in the chat if people think James is gonna win, and Justin replies,
Oh. And then James just wrote, "Have you ever seen?" Yes, they do. Have you ever seen Twister?
Oh, jeez. All right, so that was our Raw preview. The leader
and Clash of
Decay.
Champions. Yeah.
I want to get on one thing before we sign off here. And I want to
go ahead. I also wanted something I want to talk about too.
All right, we can do 5-10 minutes each on thing. How about that?
Go ahead.
I read all this stuff on the internet about Cena being in the match for SmackDown. Cena, Ambrose, and then Styles. And I see all these people bash Cena. And it really pisses me off to see people bash Cena. This guy for the past when's the last time Cena had a world title? Enlighten me. It's been a while.
Had the world title or was in a world title match?
Had the world title. It's been a while.
Man, I want to say SummerSlam when he lost, when he got beat down by Lesnar, right? I think
This
that was the last
guy
time.
has been putting over younger talent since he lost that title. He put over Kevin Owens. He has put over AJ Styles. He is putting over this talent year in and year out now since he's lost that title. He put over Seth Rollins. He lets Rollins hold both of his titles, the U.S. and the
The
World
WWE.
Heavyweight title when
Yeah.
we all thought there's no way that was going to happen. He has been putting over people nonstop. And you know what? I think for all that he's done, I don't think he'll win the title at, was it No Mercy?
No.
But this
Is
is
it?
what
Yeah,
I
No
think,
Mercy, yeah.
This is what I think Cena deserves, and I'm going to get so trash for this. I think you either have Cena win the Rumble, or you have him win whatever. Maybe they bring back the Elimination Chamber like they had for both brands. Let him get a title shot, and I think for all he's done, John Cena deserves to tie Ric Flair's record at WrestleMania. Was it 33, right?
Yep.
He deserves to tie Ric Flair's record at WrestleMania 33 by winning the title. I think he deserves it. And the matches he's put on, anyone who says he can't wrestle deserves a slap in the face, because the past couple matches of AJ have all been 5-star matches, and you can agree with that as well.
Yeah, no, without a question, best matches on the cards most of the time.
Yep. And I hate when people say or chant, "You can't wrestle." The guy can wrestle. And some of the moves he put out against his last match against AJ, we've never seen him do. He's putting out new things every pay-per-view, and it's like, where did Cena get this from his arsenal? Where did he get this? I mean, people need to see one of the best matches on Raw that ever happened was between him and CM Punk, where they both got yelled at and praised in the back. Yelled at because Punk did that pile driver, which everyone was just like, he's getting yelled at, and that was on them. But I mean, I don't know if you agree with this. I mean, we tested about Cena winning the Royal Rumble, but do you think there's a bigger stage where either he should tie Flair's record or beat Flair's record? And if anyone's going to beat it, he deserves it more than anyone else in this company.
Yeah, I think that not only should he tie it, but I think that he should be the one to set the new record. Again, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, they're John. Say whatever you want about the guy. You could say anything you want possible. Oh, this and that about him. He can't wrestle. Time and time again, he's never left. He's been here. Now I know he's taking a little bit less because he's been doing other stuff, but he's always been in the WWE. He's always been there. That's his number one priority. Yeah.
For 2
If he got
years.
injured, he came back from injuries 3 to 4 months sooner than he should have. He was just what he was doing constantly. He was over time and time again. He has delivered match after match after match after match. And we talked about it before. You could talk about his recent matches with Owens, and AJ, his most recent big feuds that he had. But then you talk about Seth Rollins. Before that, you talk about the match at SummerSlam with Daniel Bryan. You talk about CM Punk, the matches he had with him. I mean, you even go back to the original, and to me, this was the biggest feud of this, of the 2000 to 2010 decade, even into the 2010s, was the Randy Orton and John Cena, arguably the two biggest people of, the era since 2002 when they both came up. So, I don't really ever have an issue with John Cena in ring. Do I personally want him to win half the time? No. But do I think that that he's not a great wrestler and an awesome ambassador for the WWE? I will never say that he's a bad wrestler. I won't say that because he's proved it wrong. People always say, oh, it's who he's in a match with. But how many times can you say that when he's had matches with 8 other people and 8 other times they've had 5-star, matches? Now, don't get me wrong. He's had great people in the ring with, but that's the thing. You have to have chemistry and have a great person on the other side of the ring in order to make a 5-star match. But it's never just the one person that makes that match into a 5-star match. So I think that he will break the record and he will obtain the tie of the record by midway of next year of 2017. I don't think it'll take place at WrestleMania, though. Or I shouldn't say I don't think it may take place at WrestleMania, but he will not win the Royal Rumble in order to move on to WrestleMania.
Do you think he deserves to break the record at a major pay-per-view like SummerSlam or WrestleMania? Just because if you do something like that there, I mean, you got to do something for him. I mean, balloons, whatever they do there. But do you think he deserves that kind of recognition for it to be like at a SummerSlam or a Mania or Survivor Series instead of a handy-down Smackdown exclusive pay-per-view? Do you think he deserves to break that record and tie it on a mainstream pay-per-view?
Yeah, and I think that he will. The 17th one should definitely, for sure, take place at a big pay-per-view, like when he finally sets the record. But that's also the other thing is I feel like once the match is announced, whenever he ties the record, whenever he has that next title match after he loses it, people are gonna be like, oh, this is the one. Oh, this is the one. So I also hope it's kind of like not something I expect because
Now,
if he
do you
has a
see,
WrestleMania match at Mania at say 34 or 35, one of the next two for the 17th chance, the 17th reign,
it's
people
probably
are gonna be
coming.
like, "Oh, Cena's gonna be the one to win." You know what I mean? So I kind of it's a catch-22 with it because you want him to win it and get the record, but you also want it to be a little bit of suspense in when he'll actually get it.
Now, do you see when he's going for the record for them to doing something like, you see Flair down watching, you see maybe McMahon, you maybe see, well, not McMahon most, but you see Ric Flair coming out, maybe at ringside and right in front row watching it. And when Cena embrace it, do you see those two embracing in some kind of way?
Yeah, I think 100% that Ric Flair will be at ringside if that happens. Flair said it from the beginning. He's always had praise for John Cena, so I
Didn't he say
definitely think.
if anyone was going to break it, he wanted to be Cena, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I see Flair being at ringside at least, even in his next. He might even. I don't know if they'll do it at No Mercy, but I think that he might even be there when he breaks the record for the 16th time. Not breaks the record, ties the record for the 16th time. So I definitely see Flair being involved. With at least congratulating him or something like that. I agree with you on that. I think that will happen. And oh, we went.
Paul?
I'm here. What's happening?
The screen just went black.
Yeah, we just want to make sure
your
we're still
screen
on.
went black.
Oh,
There we go.
I don't know what happened. Sorry.
Okay, we're still here. Just make sure
All right.
we're still on. So yeah, I definitely agree with that, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. If you don't really have any more to talk about, Cena, it was just
Nope,
to talk
it's
about.
on you.
Yeah, I just want to talk about SmackDown, preview SmackDown, since that's Tuesday and we won't be back till next week. And as you know, 2 weeks from Sunday, this Sunday coming up, we'll already have No Mercy to talk about. So yeah, so it's like a constant rotation of pay-per-views right
Well,
now.
one
with
thing we don't have to talk
different-
about is The Miz anymore because he renegotiated
That's what I was
going to
say. So The Miz, they're saying now The Miz did renegotiate and they came to terms. Him and Daniel Bryan. So I know at one point he was saying he was going to show up on Raw. So that seems to be off the table now, and The Miz will be on SmackDown, which is great to hear. Because if he would have left, it would have just the next time he had a title match, it was almost going to be like for SmackDown, it would have been like, all right, he's going to lose the title. It just kind of would have just been a terrible thing. After he loses the title, it's a whole nother story. But with the championship still in hand, it's just kind of would have just been bad for for me watching. I think it would have been like, all right, he's going to lose once he has the next title match. But
What was
happy
he
to
in
see
before?
regardless. I'm sorry.
Oh, what was he in? Yeah.
He's SmackDown and Raw since he was just on SmackDown. So he was saying he was going to leave for Raw if SmackDown didn't give him his new contract
Okay,
storyline. It's not like he was going to leave the WWE, but because him and Daniel Bryan have never liked each other since the beginning.
Okay,
Daniel
gotcha.
Bryan was like, when they used to do NXT in the beginning, they used to do like pros and rookies, and Daniel Bryan was his rookie, even though Daniel Bryan had been wrestling for longer than The Miz, but The Miz was in WWE already, so he was this pro.
Oh,
per
gotcha.
se.
Okay.
So yeah, kind of, they just have sour tastes in each other. Sour tastes for each other always. The two of them, it's bad blood.
Right.
But
right.
they're saying that now they did get a contract done, so the Miz is staying on SmackDown, which I'm glad to see because I think he's definitely flourishing there on SmackDown, and he could continue to do great things there.
Nice.
What about you, Matt? How do you feel about the Miz?
It's boring. Just kidding. I'm happy he's staying. I think his heel run's doing pretty good, and I'm liking it. I'm liking it.
Now, another thing too, with SmackDown, is the emergence of. I know I talked about it a little bit, but we haven't really. How do you feel about Slater and Rhino as the tag team champs? Do you see them continuing their title reign for a while, or you think this is just a transition type thing?
I think they're gonna drop it at No Mercy to the Usos.
Yeah, you think this is just so that Slater finally got his contract and then they move on?
And I think they're gonna start building up. And we went black again. Paul, what's going on? There we go.
Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong.
And I think they're gonna start building up the Usos versus American Alpha.
Yeah, I agree, but I hope they at least win one match. I really do. I like this team. I think that they add a lot of different charisma between the two of them, and it's good to see actually Rhino getting more airtime on TV as well as Heath Slater. So I'd like to see this team a little bit more than just one match. Add No Mercy and then that's it. But I'm excited to see what they do with that. And another thing, we finally saw our first, if you want to say defect from Raw to SmackDown, but you saw that Jack Swagger's contract with Raw, which I still don't understand. It was like 2 months since he's been drafted, how he even got that short of a contract, storyline wise. He's now on SmackDown, and he came toe-to-toe, face-to-face with Baron Corbin on SmackDown. Is that a match you'd be interested to see? Like maybe a resurgence of Swagger's character to give the mid-card another guy to be in that title picture?
I always liked Swagger. I always thought he was a pretty good wrestler. I just feel like there was no place for him to go, and obviously he had the failed drug test. That didn't help him out either when he was going for the title. Yeah, I would like that, but I also want to see Baron Corbin get a push.
Yeah, so the two of them maybe having matches. And the thing with that, like you said, that failed. He was going to win the world title. There was no doubt in my mind that he was going to win the title at WrestleMania against Del Rio that year, but then once he had the test, it kind of, ruin any chances of him moving on as the world champion. But
speaking of world
excited.
championship, should we talk about the triple threat real quick?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna have AJ versus Dean versus Cena.
No predictions yet, though.
No prediction. I like it.
No.
I think it's gonna be a great match. I think they're gonna put on something, but for some reason here, I feel like Dean's the odd man out here, which is really weird saying. Dean, he puts on great matches and everything. But I think the chemistry between AJ and John have just been amazing over the past couple months. I mean, even when watching Dean versus AJ, I still feel the chemistry between Cena and AJ was a whole lot better. Even with their first match, I loved it. So I'm really interested to see how Dean. It's funny to say this. It's interesting to see how Dean's going to incorporate into them and see what happens. But I'm really looking forward to this match.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the match is going to be awesome. I'm wondering how they're going to do it because if you watched the beginning of SmackDown, he told Dean, you're going to get your one-on-one rematch, just not at No Mercy. And that's when he announced a triple threat. So are we going to see AJ and Dean after this match have a singles match at the next pay-per-view because Cena's going to leave again? Or what's going to happen there? So that's interesting to see too. But I'm definitely excited to see that triple threat take place at No Mercy. I'm glad that Cena will be on this next SmackDown pay-per-view because the past one was good Backlash, but I think Cena being there will add even more intrigue to the match. And another thing that took place on SmackDown was we found out the number one contender now for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and it's actually surprise, yeah, Alexa Bliss. But you know what? I'm happy to see it. So now you're going to get Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch at No Mercy. So that's going to be another good match and something I'm looking forward to see that match. But definitely already liking the way that No Mercy's shaping out.
I'm sure we'll see Orton versus Bray.
Finally, Orton has been cleared.
Was competing this weekend, so he is cleared now.
Yes, he is officially cleared. He took bumps in a match. He is good to go. They're saying that moving forward, everything should be fine. So we will probably, hopefully, now get to see that match that should have took place at Backlash. That I'm still excited to see between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. I was really bummed about that not taking place at Backlash. So look forward to seeing that match now again take place. So
yep.
I think that's
all.
You know
I
what?
have.
One other thing too, we haven't really talked about it. Since now it's been over almost, I think it's over 2 months since the brand split. What show's been better to you?
SmackDown.
Yeah, I agree.
Hands down.
Sorry. Last week,
let's talk wrestling.
I think this week Raw has a chance to really elevate it and go further because the Cruiserweights are showing up. But last week, the minute SmackDown started and AJ came out with the title and then Cena and Amber, I was like, what happened on Raw again? I mean, it was like SmackDown was already putting them the first 10 minutes. They were already better to me than all of Raw. So I really think Raw has a chance this week to really do something special. But the go-home shows for the one before the pay-per-view, I feel like they always are missing something. I really feel like they really don't have anything special. And with Monday Night Football back, they really got to elevate their game in order to get those ratings. So,
oh yeah.
But I agree, SmackDown is the best one. And yeah, we're a little before 8. So, Paul, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Time to watch.
All right.
Delete.
Deleting stuff. Thanks everybody for watching. If you're on the YouTubes watching, or if you're on Facebook watching the live stream, you should join us every week, Monday at around 7 o'clock. We usually have some type of technical difficulties going on or something like that, so just hang in there and we show up eventually. That's for sure. Let's see. So you can find us, or you can tweet us at OT3Podcast1. Send us the email, ot3podcast@gmail.com. And make sure you do like us and follow us on Facebook. It's Facebook.com/Off the Top Turnbuckle. And on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and give us thumbs up for all the videos that you watch. Don't be afraid to comment or send us emails or tweet us your favorite matches, whatever you guys want to talk about. We'd love to add it to our list of to-dos on each show. And I think we're coming back next week, right, guys?
Yep, we'll be here on Monday, right, Matt?
Yep, and then I'm back tomorrow on Shipe Sports Talk.
That's right. Shipe Sports Talk tomorrow, so make sure you tune into that. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of ranting and things that's going to be going on tomorrow, especially with the Redskins doing as good as they're doing.
Anthony, would you like to come on tomorrow to preview Skins versus Giants?
Is this some kind of bait? You're trying to bait me in there so you can try and talk smack the
formal
whole time?
invitation to have you come on to break down the Giants against us breaking down the Skins.
I will let you know for sure. You know what? Yeah, I accept. I will be on.
All right, there we go.
Sky
We're gonna
Sports
have
Talk.
a Royal Rumble between
Sucker! Just kidding.
I will delete you tomorrow.
That's going to be
Now,
good.
again, I'm going to say it one more time before we close out tonight. Senor Jizzy, prepare the battlefield because tomorrow OT3 goes to the Shipe Sports Talk.
I love it. So you can catch us tomorrow at Shipe Sports Talk, 7 o'clock, where you can see me and Anthony do our best Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith debate for Skins versus the Giants.
And of course, Chris will be there as well, right?
Chris will be there tomorrow, so you got a handicap match tomorrow, buddy.
All right. Well, you never know. Sometimes, I might have to bring a mystery tag team partner. I make no promises, my friend. I don't go into anywhere with the odds not in my favor.
All right, guys.
So,
So is that it? Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, Paul, also real quick, I know you talked about is Crazy Talk going to be this Wednesday?
I don't think so, actually. Yeah, we're taking. I don't know what we have like with the kids and like soccer. Everybody has different days that the kids are like doing soccer and things like that. So that usually takes up a good amount of the evening. But we're gonna try that next time we do have one. I'll definitely make sure I mention it on OT3 and on the Shipe Sports Talk so people can tune in. But yeah, if you don't know about it, it's crazytalk.com with a K. You can hit the website and there's all the old podcasts there that you can download or listen to right from the streaming right from the website. It's kind of funny. I feel like a bunch of old people talking funny stuff. I don't know. It's entertaining.
All right. Well, we're right at the top of the hour, everyone. So everyone go enjoy Raw. Matt, we're glad to have you back again this week. And Paul, as usual, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for everything. And to all the fans and the viewers, if you're watching us on Facebook, we do appreciate it. But please do head over to YouTube. Give us a subscribe. Give us a like on the video. It'll definitely help us out a lot. And to Justin, Bojo, James, and of course our number one fan, Vinny, that watches every week. We appreciate you guys again. I hope everyone has a great night. And we'll see you tomorrow on the Shipe Sports Talk for the OT3 takeover.
See ya.
You guys have a good night.
I like it. Good night, everyone.
See ya.